Okay, do you enjoy games with gameplay mechanics similar to Destiny 2? Or are captivated by the gothic world of Hunt Showdown? Or how about just a progression of soul-like games or roguelites? This game is going to make you so happy. And I'm actually going to go ahead and just spoil this video right at the start here. If you like those games, just go ahead and buy WitchFire because it's worth every penny. But if you want a little more convincing or you want to know more about the game, I got you covered. After just over a year of this game being an Epic Store exclusive, it's finally made its way over to Steam. I played it right when it came out in early access on Epic, and it was good, but it was the typical, this really needs some time to cook in the oven. One of the biggest things was the difficulty. It was just so ridiculous. It was level based, so as you progress, the difficulty ramped up so much, it was actually overwhelming. It made it more frustrating than fun after the first few hours. But they have recently changed this in the most recent patch, and we will talk about this a little later on. This game could have been one of those, this needs time to cook. I'll come back to it in like 6 months to a year. Then you just forget about it until you're scrolling through your Steam library or your Epic Store library, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember this game. I wonder what they did. Nothing. They did nothing. And it could have been like that. They could have just done nothing, gotten their money, and just did a couple of things and been on their way. But they really turned this game into something super addicting. There's so many influences in this game, and they aren't shy about showing it, yet they're not blatantly stealing things from other games. It's just a nice way of when you're playing the game, you're like, oh, this really feels like, you know, game A, or oh, this is from game B. It's not malicious, it's just really nice. The main gameplay, of course, is you traveling into one of these 3 islands and shooting bad guys. The islands are always the same, but the placement of mobs and difficulty of them is always random. You can also run into random powerful bosses that do different things, but will usually drop some sort of useful item for you to use. You'll also see on the map ammo refills, and these are always random every time you enter the map, but you will want to strategize when you pick these up because ammo management is a big part of the game, at least at the start. But don't worry, some mobs do drop ammo you can collect, you just can't always count on it, nor do you get a lot from these drops. When you do go to one of these locations with a ton of mobs on it, once you clear the last enemy in that area, all the Witchfire form into this crystal and you'll be able to collect it and get a random Arcana trait. Think of these traits as random perks that you're going to collect, but they're only for this run. Once you get out of this run, they are gone forever. But they are always random. It could be something for your spells, something for your guns, or something for your character. It could be anything from you being able to carry more healing potions to every time you dash, you reload a little bit of ammo in your gun. When you do enter the island, you're transported by a portal, and the cool thing is the portal you enter has a cooldown of 5 minutes, where if you want, you can exit the raid right away. This is a nice feature because if you forgot to do something important in your hideout, or you're like me and had a crappy first encounter with the enemies, and you're just like, you know what, let's just reset spaghetti here. You can. Once those 5 minutes are up though, you will need to travel to another portal that is always randomly selected on your map, and that will take you out of the raid. But it is always random on where it is, and it does take, I think, roughly 20 seconds for it to actually appear when you do get there. Now let me show you what the hideout entails. Of course, you're gonna have the tutorial right away. And if you've played this game before and you're like, oh, I haven't played it for like a year, well, guess what? The tutorial's always in the hideout. You can redo it whenever you want. The next thing I'll show you is the apothecary right here, and this is where you craft your potions. And you know, you're going to need them. You're going to need a lot of them, so you know, make sure you're crafting them. Across from here is where you're going to be going into the world. This is where you go into each of the islands. Now, you start with Island of the Damned. Then you go to Scarlet Coast. Then after that, you'll go to Iron Gate Castle. But then we have Witch Mountain here. And this, I don't think's in the game yet, but it's going to be the next location you can travel to. And then they have 2 more unknown areas that they do want to include later on. You, of course, will have a shrine where you're going to spend your Witchfire. Your Witchfire is like, it's your currency to, you know, upgrade your character and everything really, so that you can get vitality, or you can get healing, endurance. This is going to be familiar to a lot of people, and you kind of understand the idea, and it shows you what all this stuff does. We then have the mirror where you research items, and right here you can research anything from close range, medium range to long range weapons, You can get the demonic fun weapons, light spells, heavy spells, and they're all random that they give you, but there's only so much in the game. Now to the left of the mirror is your gun room. This is where you equip all the gear that you either find or you've unlocked through that mirror. So you have relics, you have fetishes, this is weird, and then rings. You also have firearms, and there's 16 standard weapons in the game. I have unlocked 12, so I have another 4 to go, and they've already said they want to have another 16 once the game finally releases. You have your forge where you can upgrade your gear. Now there are actually three other things that you can go into. So down here, this is the Gnosis. This is what makes your game harder. Before, like I was saying, it was level based. So as you progress in levels, that's how the game became harder. So you didn't really have any control of it. Now there's something called the Gnosis, which makes it so you control when you want to make the game a little bit harder. Of course, you're going to get more Witchfire from characters, but they're going to become more hard, of course. This is the smartest thing they added. This is what I really like. So you don't get overwhelmed right away. You can just play the game, get a gist of it, and then you can be like, okay, I want to upgrade now. You know what? I still don't know what this room is. Again, Gnosis 2. I need that, but I'll eventually get in there. But you also have a little guy that sells stuff, but he sells a bunch of stuff. So he'll sell you Angelica, which you make into potions, and that's just for Witchfire. You can get supply chest keys, gold from them. You can get a bunch of stuff, but again, other stuff is gatekept by the Gnosis. So again, you're going to be kind of limited until you level up. There's 3 vaults in the game currently that are like mini dungeons that I think are time-based, or at least the first one that I did was. These are harder areas where you will have to kill waves of enemies and do some sort of platforming, and you'll get a reward for completing these. You also get to collect these random trinkets in the game, and you will either stumble upon them just by looking through the world, or by following these magical toesy woesies of magical ghosts around. Oh, we're following the feet skis to something juicy, cause the feet skis take us there. I'll cleanse that first. These will provide you with gold, but when you pick them up, if you don't cleanse them for a certain amount of Witchfire, they have a chance to curse you and cause calamities. In the top left of your screen, you'll see these eyes that sometimes start occurring in raid from random things happening, from you taking damage to you picking up trinkets and not cleansing them. When these eyes do eventually fill, a calamity happens. These are random events that you have to complete in the world, or else you pretty much die. They aren't that hard though. In the early version of the game, they were a nightmare. Now they're just super doable and just a random event. As you progress through the map, killing enemies, you will collect Witchfire, which is your main source of upgrading your character. So staying in longer than needed or gambling so you can just get a little bit further is always exciting. Once you do die though, you will lose all your Witchfire. Don't worry though, you can re-enter the map, and on your next round, you will see on the map where you died and have a chance to go back and collect all your Witchfire. You have to be careful though, because say losing all your Witchfire in an area like a vault or a boss, it'll be really hard for you to get back to. So you have to be smart when you do go into certain locations and start gambling all that Witchfire that you have on you. The best thing I could say about this game is it will give you that feeling of just another quick run. Nah, you know what? Just one more. This game will make you say that over and over, and it's really the best feeling. The game is priced on the higher end of AA games though, it being priced at 52 Canadian right now, and it is currently 10% off though. But even at its full price, I have no hesitation with saying if this game is piquing your interest, and if you like everything you've heard so far, buy it. There's a reason that this has a really positive Steam review score so far, and it is still an early access title. That's pretty big. The only big gripe I have with it is the soundtrack that's in the game. It's okay, but it's nothing to write home about. It does add tension when needed, but it's not really something that stands out and makes you get jacked when you start getting further in the level and start really sweating about all the Witchfire and arcane perks you have. It just doesn't add anything for me. Also, another huge thing that people ask me when I'm streaming this game is, does it have co-op? No, it doesn't, and it probably won't. It's not something that is on their roadmap, but hopefully with everyone asking for it, maybe they will add it. They currently do have a roadmap for the public to see, and as you can see, December 2024, they're going to be updating the game with a big step towards late game. Then in early 2025, they do have another one planned, mid 2025, another, and then the final 1.0 release will be late 2025. Now, a lot of times when you see something like this, you could just be like, yeah, that's their plan. Hopefully they stick to it. But with the updates they've been getting this past year and where the game is currently, I'm not going to hesitate and say, yeah, they will stick to this and 1.0 will come out in 2025. There's a lot of ambition here, and I'm really excited for the future of this game. Okay, I did gush a lot about this game, and I truly believe that if you like PvE style games and you don't mind only playing solo, this game will be for you. Thank you guys just for watching this video. Hey, subscribe to the channel. It is free for you guys. It does mean the world to me. Also, I do stream on twitch.tv/Geekseh. Come by, hang out, and until next time, I'll talk to everyone later.